Curious if you could tell us what that post meant to you, and if you are in fact potentially going to endorse Kamala Harris.
In that opportunity, Caitlin Clark for three, rattles it around for her.
You know what's crazy? Caitlin Clark just pulled a Michael Jordan move, and it's shaking up the WNBA. She's refusing to play politics, and it's making waves bigger than her three-pointers. Want to know why some players might not be too happy about it? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. Let's talk about what Clark just did. She straight up said no to endorsing any political candidate. That's huge. In the WNBA, where players often speak out on issues, Clark's staying quiet. It's like she's playing a whole different game off the court. Remember when MJ said, "Republicans buy sneakers too"? Clark's doing something similar, and it's got everyone talking. Some fans love it, others not so much. But here's the thing. By the end of this video, you'll see why this might be the smartest move Clark's made outside of basketball. You know what's crazier? This decision could change her whole career and maybe even shake up the league. Are you ready to see how this plays out? Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Now, imagine being in Clark's shoes. The spotlight's on you, and suddenly, you're asked a question that could change everything.
The biggest thing I can do with the platform that I have, and that's the same thing Taylor did, and I think continue to educate yourself.
Any good shooter can really feel the ball off their hand like that. So I kind of know, and then sometimes I get ready to celebrate and fire up the crowd. And then the next time down.
Obviously we see her shooting, we see her passing, we see all that stuff on the floor, but a lot of that comes from a lot of hard work. She's in the gym almost all the time working on her game.
How she answered might surprise you, and it's got the whole league talking. Picture this. Caitlin Clark, the basketball phenom, is standing in front of the media. Everyone's waiting to hear her take on politics. But Clark, she's not playing that game. She straight up told them, "Nah, we're not going down that road." Can you believe it? In a world where everyone's expected to have an opinion, Clark's keeping it all about the ball. You know what's wild? This isn't just about dodging a question. It's like Clark starting a quiet revolution in the WNBA. Most players are out there, speaking up on every issue under the sun. But Clark? She's doing her own thing and it's turning heads. Let's break it down. Clark got asked about liking a Taylor Swift post that endorsed Kamala Harris. That's the kind of thing that could blow up in your face, right? But Clark shut it down faster than a buzzer beater. She's not here for the politics, she's here to play. And get this, instead of picking sides, Clark's encouraging people to do their own research and vote. She said, "I think the biggest thing would be to encourage people to register to vote." That's smart. She's not telling anyone what to think, just reminding them to use their voice. Now, some WNBA players might not be too happy about this. The league's known for being politically active, and there's this unwritten rule that you've got to speak out. But Clark's breaking that mold, and it's shaking things up. You've got to wonder, is this going to change how people see WNBA players? Clark's basically saying, "I'm just here to play basketball." It's like she's drawing a line between her job on the court and everything else. Here's the thing, Clark's move is bold. She's risking some heat from fans and maybe even other players who think she should use her platform differently. But she's also showing that she's her own person, not just following the crowd. Think about it. In a world where everyone's expected to have a hot take on everything, Clark's silence is louder than words. She's letting her game do the talking. And that's something we don't see much anymore. Clark's game was speaking volumes, but not everyone liked what they heard. Remember that cheap shot during the Chicago Sky game? It wasn't just a foul, it was a message. And you'll never guess who stepped in to defend her. So, Clark's decision to stay out of politics didn't exactly go unnoticed. The media went wild. Some praised her for focusing on basketball, while others weren't too happy about it. It's like she flipped a switch, and suddenly everyone had an opinion. But here's where things got really heated.
Myself is, I have this amazing platform, so I think the biggest thing would be just to encourage people to register to vote. I think for myself, this is the second time I can vote in an election.
Ball two, trills it. The Fever leak out. Caitlin Clark, a layup drill for her.
When you talk about greats in this game, you know, the Michael Jordans and the Kobe Bryants and the Steph Currys. Like they are putting her in that category, the Diana Taurasi's.
During a game against the Chicago Sky, Chennedy Carter hit Clark with what many called a cheap shot. It wasn't just any foul, it was flagrant. People were losing their minds over it. Even Indiana Congressman Jim Banks got involved, calling it an excessive attack. You know what's crazy? Clark didn't lose her cool. When ESPN asked her about it, she just said, "It wasn't a basketball play." That's it. No drama, no finger pointing, just straight facts. Now you'd think her teammates would be all over this, right? Defending their star player? Well, not so much. The silence from her own team was deafening. It's like they were caught between supporting Clark and not wanting to rock the boat. And the media? Oh boy, they had a field day. Some commentators, like ESPN's Pat McAfee, even made some pretty nasty comments about Clark. He had to apologize later, but it just shows how intense this whole situation got. But here's the thing. Through all of this, Clark kept her focus on the game. She didn't get dragged into Twitter wars or give fiery interviews. She just kept playing her heart out on the court. It's like Clark's silence is louder than words. She's not just changing how the game is played, she's changing how players interact with the media and politics. And not everyone's happy about it. This whole situation is bringing up big questions about how women are treated in sports. Some people are saying it's time for a change, that all players deserve respect, no matter how famous they are or what they believe. You think Clark's just playing basketball? Think again. She's changing the game in ways you wouldn't expect. Let's talk about what's really going on here. Have you seen the numbers lately? It's insane. Clark's presence is like a magnet, drawing over 17,000 fans to games. That's a huge jump from the usual 10,000. And get this, the Indiana Fever? They've had more fans show up in just 5 home games than they did all last season. That's 20 games, folks. Clark's not just playing ball, she's filling seats.
I think do that. That's the biggest thing I can do with the platform that I have.
38%. Caitlin Clark, another three-pointer.
Let's run that. I think her ability to lead this team as a rookie, she's really starting to step into that role, and I think that's exciting to see as well.
But here's where it gets wild. Clark's not just changing the game on the court, she's shaking things up off the court too. Remember how she's staying out of politics? That move might be part of why she's so popular. She's not alienating anyone, and fans are loving it. Now you might be thinking, isn't that risky in a league known for speaking out? Well, that's the genius of it. Clark's found a way to appeal to everyone without stepping on toes. She's like, hey, I'm here to play basketball and that's what I'm gonna do. But don't get it twisted. Clark's not ignoring the important stuff. She dropped this gem. Everybody in our world deserves the same amount of respect. That's powerful, right? She's not picking sides, but she's still standing for something. And you know what's crazy? This approach might be setting a whole new standard for how athletes deal with the media and politics in women's sports. It's like Clark's found a sweet spot between being a role model and just focusing on her game. Think about it. In a world where everyone's expected to have an opinion on everything, Clark's saying, nah, I'm good. And somehow, it's working. She's not just avoiding drama, she's creating a new way for athletes to navigate the spotlight. But here's the real kicker. Clark's approach isn't just about her. It's changing how people see the whole WNBA. More fans, more attention, more respect for the game. And she's doing it without getting caught up in the off-court noise.
Like I said, she's a special player. She commands so much defensive attention. And I think that's one of the things that separates her in terms of winning that Rookie of the Year.
Caitlin decided not to shoot. Mitchell will hits the three, and that is the 19th assist for Caitlin.
All right, let's talk about why Clark's move is such a big deal. She's not just dodging political questions, she's changing the game off the court. Think about it. In a league where everyone's expected to speak up, Clark's silence is making waves. You know what's wild? This could totally change how athletes deal with the media. Clark's showing that you can be a star without getting tangled up in every hot topic. She's all about the basketball, and fans are loving it. But here's the real kicker. Clark's not just playing basketball. She's rewriting the playbook on how athletes can shape their own stories. She's proving you can make a difference without making noise. So, what do you think? Is Clark's move a slam dunk for her career, or could it backfire? Hit me up in the comments.